Let's start the stream and make sure it's actually started now. Alright. Visually it looks fine. How about audio-wise?
Alright. Visually.
Sounds fine as well. So, hello, people of the internet. It is I, Soul Dragon here, back with more Fate Stay Night Remaster, where last time we finished the prologue. It was a very long prologue. My throat was killing me by the end of it, because it's a lot of dialogue. A lot of dialogue. In fact, I'm just gonna check something here. Okay, display language is English. Is there any way to change the voice language to English? Oh, Shiro's muted default? Interesting. So that would explain why I wasn't hearing any dialogue from Shiro last time. But it does not look like there's any way to make the voices come in English. Which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. But, yeah, so we are going to be starting up here. I don't know, is it load? No, we do not want to load the prologue. I guess we click new game here because we made it to the title screen last time. And let's see where this puts us. If it puts us at the prologue again, I'm not going to be too pleased, though. But this stream will have a hard time. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, nor known to life, have withstood pain to create many weapons, yet those hands will never hold anything. So, as I pray, unlimited blade works. When I came to, I was lying in a burning field. It must have been a big fire. The familiar town was unrecognizable, smoking ruin. It looked like a scene from a war movie. The sight didn't last long, though. As morning dawned, the fires gradually died down. The towering walls of flame shrunk to embers, and most of the buildings looked to have collapsed. It felt so strange being the only unchanged thing in town. I was the only one left alive. I was either fortunate or the house I'd been inside was built on the luckiest ground of all time. There's no autoplay feature, is there? Flowcharts. Okay. So, there is a split thing here. Interesting. Show me the controls. Is there an auto mode? Right button. It looks like might work. Just because I don't want to have to keep clicking continuously. No, there we go. Either way, I was the only one alive. Since I'd survive, I felt I needed to keep on living. I walked aimlessly, thinking it would be dangerous to remain where I was. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid becoming what had happened to everyone around me, those scorched, blackened masses. It wasn't a feeling of disgust. Some other emotion was driving me on. At the same time, I had no hope. It was a miracle I was alive at all, and I didn't think I was going to last much longer. There was just no way in hell I was going to survive. There was simply no way I would ever escape this crimson hellscape, no matter what I did. That was how desperate, how hellish this place was, even through the eyes of a young boy. And then I collapsed. Either there was no air around me, or I simply couldn't breathe anymore. I just collapsed, and all I could do was look up at the slowly clouding sky. The scorched black masses around me lay motionless. The dark clouds cover the sky, promising rain. Okay, okay, so that's how I do it. So, this is obviously Shiro's perspective. As far as I was aware, the fire burned Sorry about that. The Fuyuki fire burned for a few days, during which Shiro was wandering, before being found by Kiritsugu, while the flames were still going. But it sounds like that's not the case, that the fire ended quickly and he was wandering the burned remains. I could have swore that he wandered the still burning Fuyuki when Kiritsugu found him. I took one final deep breath and looked up at the rain clouds. I couldn't breathe, but I still felt pain. I said that out loud on behalf of all those people who couldn't say those words themselves. That was 10 years ago. Miraculously, in the midst of all that, I was saved. My physical body survived, but everything else was scorched, reduced to ash. When a young child loses their parents or their home, there's really nothing left of them, and so everything other than my body perished. Put as simply as possible, in exchange for my body living, my heart died. I'm dreaming. Exclamation point. I squinted, seeing a bright white light. It was blinding. Light stabbed at my eyes when I woke. I doubt I really knew what the sensation of blinding light was in the first place. What? As my eyes adjusted, I awoke, alarmed. I was lying in a bed I didn't recognize, in a room I didn't recognize. I was honestly stunned, but the cleanliness of the white room made me feel at ease. Where am I? I looked blankly at my surroundings. The room was spacious, and beds lined it in neat rows. All the beds were full, and it looked like each bed's occupant was injured. But the room didn't feel depressing at all. Everyone injured survived. I let my eyes wander. I looked out the window. The clear blue sky was so incredibly beautiful. A few days passed, and I was finally able to take in the situation. I had no problem remembering what happened the days before. But I wasn't much different from a newborn during this time. Strange as it was, that was closer to the truth than might seem possible. The fire was just that bad. I was rescued from the fire. I awoke in a hospital, my parents were gone, my entire body wrapped in bandages. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I did know that I was alone. It didn't take long for me to accept my circumstances. Maybe I had no choice, really. All the other children were in the same boat. And then, later, in the moment I, naive as I was, started to worry about what would become of me, he walked in. He appeared the day my bandages came off and I started eating on my own. His hair was disheveled, his suit tattered. He looked a bit younger than my doctor. He looked more like someone's older brother than someone's father. Hello, you must be Shiro. His beaming smile seemed to blend into the pouring white sunlight. His voice was somehow irritatingly fake, yet extremely gentle. I'll come right to it. Would you rather go to an orphanage or go to a home with a man who you just met? He was offering to take me in. I asked if we were related. He said we were complete strangers. He looked like an unremarkable, unreliable guy. Kiritsugu. But then again, he was no more or less familiar than the orphanage. So I decided I'd go with him. Oh good. Then let's pack up quickly. It'd be best if you got used to your new home as soon as possible. I think I might kick up the auto mode a little bit if I can. He started gathering my things hastily. Even as young as I was, I could see he wasn't any good at it. Poor Kiritsugu. And after he made a mess packing... What things did you have, Shiro? I forgot to mention one important thing. Before you come with me, there's one thing you need to know. Okay, first off, Shiro, you're literally an orphan now. You should not have that much to pack. He turned, asking for confirmation. He asked so casually, as if asking me if there was somewhere I wanted to go. Yeah. Let me be direct with you. I'm a magician. Kiritsugu, you don't just reveal magic! This... Kiritsugu... Nope, hang on. Okay, you have to press left to stop the forward. Kiritsugu, you could have gone your whole time without saying a lick of the fact that you had magic to Shiro. And the story would be vastly, vastly different. Like, you exposing Shiro Emiya as a child, a broken child, to the fact that there is magic in the world, is directly what led to his ideals of being a hero of justice. I thought that he found out somehow. I didn't know you just blatantly told him when you frickin' adopted him. Like, I'm just trying to imagine how much different would Shiro's life had been had he not known he had magic. So, the only magic he ever learned was reinforcement magic and projection magic. He'd never had his magical circuits opened. He learned how to create turn his own nerves into circuits, which, granted, did give him some pain tolerance. So pain tolerance. So he nearly killed himself by making his nerves into magic circuits, thus granting him a sustainable pain tolerance rate. His projection and reinforcement magic are what made him so, handy with tools and stuff, because he could essentially repair most common appliances. But because you revealed you are a mage, and you instilled upon him the ideals of becoming a hero of justice, his worldview became warped. He could have been a normal kid, damn it, Kiritsugu. Now, granted, if he still lived in the same house after you died, there is still a chance he could have summoned Saber when the Holy Grail War started, because he still technically has Avalon resting inside of him. And then, that could be its own branching timeline. But, seriously, Kiritsugu, you did not have to reveal this to Shiro. Oh. Kiritsugu, why? Why? It happened so fast. Now that I think back, I was also immature. I just accepted his words as fact. I took it as neither a joke or a genuine statement. Really? That's so cool, Pops. I guess I said something like that, eyes wide in astonishment. And I was his child. Actually, I don't really remember how that conversation went. But every now and then my old man would bring it up. He would recount that scene over and over, acting all embarrassed. That scene might have been the happiest day of my old man, a man named Kiritsugu Emiya's, life. You can say that it was one thing for him to tell a recently orphaned kid he was a magician, but I was no better, the way I so eagerly bought into it. And that was how my old man adopted me, and how I took the last name Emiya. Shiro Emiya. When I said that name aloud, it felt really proud to have the same last name as Kiritsugu. I'm dreaming. It's from my childhood. It's probably about 8 years ago, since it's about the time when I talked my old man into making me his apprentice. Kiritsugu had started going away on a regular basis once I was old enough to stay home by myself. He'd always give some childish, unbelievable explanation like I'm going on an adventure around the world, then he'd actually do it. From then on, that's how it always was. It wasn't unusual for him to be gone for a month, and at times he didn't come home for half a year. The Emiya Mansion is an expensive Japanese samurai-style house, and Kiritsugu and I were the only ones living there. It felt too big and empty for a child like me, and at times I felt lost. But I liked my life there. Whenever Kiritsugu would come home from his trips, he would brag and tell stories like an excited child. And another child, when he shared his last name, always looked forward to those stories. I may have been alone in the mansion, but Kiritsugu's stories always helped lessen that. He was always pursuing a dream like a boy. I was wary of his whims, yet at the same time, he always looked radiant to me. Maybe that's why I hoped to one day be like him. Well, as childish as I might have been, I realized I needed to get my act together since I had an old man with his head constantly in the clouds. January 31st. Day 1. I hear a sound. The heavy rusted hinges on the door creak as it's being pushed open. Light pours in through the crack in the door. My mind tries to shake off the slumber. Are you awake, senpai? I hear footsteps drawing near, and I feel the winter air flowing in. Sakura! Morning, Sakura. Yes, good morning to you too, senpai. Senpai, it's morning. It's still early, but Miss Fujimura would be mad if she finds you sleeping here. Oh yeah, thanks for waking me up as always. Familiar music. It's no problem at all. You're always up early in the morning. I don't often get to wake you up like this. I'm not sure why, but Sakura looks more cheerful than usual. She summoned Ryder. I don't know about that. I think you wake me up more often than you think. Then again, Fujini is brutal when she's the one waking me up, so I prefer you do it. Yep, I've learned my lesson. I'll try not to sleep in here next time. I answer, still half asleep. My head's still not right, so even I don't know what I'm saying. Well, okay, but personally I prefer you not to try too hard. Sakura is giggling. Crap, I must still be so sleepy I said something weird. Give me a minute to wake up. The cold winter air helps at times like this. He's in his workshop, isn't he? The chill snaps my lethargic mind awake, and in front of me stands my junior at school, Sakura Matao. And in my house's storehouse, and it's just about 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I'm awake now. Sorry, Sakura. I did it again. I need to help you with breakfast. She's already done it, hasn't she? Don't worry about that. You were up late again last night, weren't you? Then you should take your time this morning. I'll fix breakfast. How is a 6 o'clock wake up late? Sakura is practically bouncing with excitement. That's odd. Sakura is weirdly energetic this morning. No, I'm getting up. So let's head to the kitchen together. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go, Sakura. Senpai. What is it? Something wrong? No, not exactly, but, I believe you should change before you head back inside the house. Oh. I finally look at myself. I fell asleep working last night, so I'm still wearing my coveralls. The coveralls I wear while working are usually dirty. Who knows what Fujini would say or do if I went into the house as is. Okay, I guess I'm not quite awake yet. I must be more out of it than usual. You might be right, which is why you should leave breakfast to me. And you should take it easy, senpai. Besides, Miss Fujimura would be really angry if she saw the mess here. Yeah, then I'll get changed, so you go on ahead. Okay, I'll be waiting, senpai. Sakura quickly walks out. Okay, then. I'll change to my school uniform first, then I need to collect all the parts I left scattered around. The storehouse is in the corner of the backyard, and all sorts of junk is crammed in there. Though I've always liked to tinker with the gadgets, so the place is a treasure trove to me. The old man forbade me to go into the storehouse, but I ignored his warnings and snuck in almost every day. Now it's sort of a base for me. I guess you could call this place my real room. The massive Emiya house never felt homey to me, but I always felt at ease here surrounded by all this junk. Besides, it's wasteful, it might be junk, but a lot of it still works. The majority of the things in the storehouse are everyday things, mostly unusable. I'm not sure whether I brought it all in because I liked it in here, or whether I liked this place because it was full of junk. Either way, I snuck into the storehouse almost daily, and I made it sort of a hobby fixing broken things. I'm not the type who gets attached to things, but it just didn't feel right to neglect things that are still usable. Or maybe better to say the idea of doing that just bothered me, which is why I stayed up all night trying to fix a broken stove. Guess I'll be done tomorrow. Falling asleep midway is proof I'm not concentrating. I try to shake off my self-disgust at that. I gather the parts for the stove and put them back on the shelf of things to get fixed. There is no more room, though. Once I fix the stove, an old VCR is up next, both of which were destroyed by Fujini. We can set that aside for now. Okay, then. I change into my school uniform. Since the storehouse is like my own room, I have all these essentials, including changes of clothes in here. The rest are things haphazardly drawn blueprints scattered all over the place, and literal junk from my failed attempts at fixing up various things. Also, there's some sort of pattern carved into the stone house, whose floor perhaps used as some sort of altar in the past. Okay, gotta work hard again today. I clap my hands in prayer at the storehouse and turn towards the mansion. Okay. I walk from the storehouse to the mansion. This semi-residence is a Japanese samurai-style house located on the outskirts of town. My old man wasn't from a notable family, yet for some reason he owned this giant house. That in itself was a mystery, and it also seemed he didn't have any relatives here in Japan, and so when my old man died, and there was no one else to inherit this mansion, so it came to me as his adopted son. Though to be honest, I don't have any administrative abilities, so things like inheritance, property tax, and other complicated things are handled by Old Man Fujimura. Old Man Fujimura is a major businessman who lives nearby. Kiritsu described him as an old man who's like a Yakuza boss. Obviously, that was his own biased view. In fact, Old Man Fujimura is not like a Yakuza boss. He is a Yakuza boss. That may be a problem in itself, but I try not to dwell on it. Shiro's already compromising. Anyway, that's why I live in this giant mansion on my own. It's been 5 years since my old man died. Time sure does fly. I sigh, thinking about how much I've grown in those 5 years. Trained every day to become like Kiritsugu, but that's easier said than done. It's not surprising since I didn't have what it takes from the start, but the fact that I haven't improved at all in these past 5 years forces me to reassess things. If I had to sum up my current situation, I'd say I've set the bar too high. I haven't even reached the starting line. ... No, rushing me won't do any good. For now, I have to do what I can. Okay, then. What I need to do now is... Ooh. Okay. Choices. Save. So, I'm going to do this because if we go to the flowchart, these will lead to branching choices. And I don't know which one is a dead end and which one is not dead ends. I know that there is a lot of dead ends. I mean, we've seen the endings, and there's like, 30 different endings here? So, the first choice. Do we go help Sakura, or do we take care of our own daily tasks? Now, based on prior knowledge of the Fate Stay Night, obviously, a lot of prior knowledge is going to help at some instances, but I wasn't aware of the prologue being told all from Rin's point of view. And from what I can remember of Unlimited Blade Works, it starts with Shiro being resurrected, and then the whole scene there. Heavens Feel. How does Heavens Feel? Where's the branching point for Heavens Feel? That is the question. It's probably something to do with Sakura. Do I want to go Heavens Feel first? Or last? Because, I mean, I kind of want to try and go for the Fate route first, because that is the one I know the absolute least about. I know very little about the Fate route, other than that is the Seiba route. So I want to experience new things first, and then go from there. So, on the assumption that Heaven's Feel route is, if we help Sakura now, we're going to take care of daily tasks. There's a respectable dojo built within the Emiya household. It was added as an afterthought when the entire house was being built. It was nothing more than a hobby and an indulgence. Okay, then. I'll do some light exercise before breakfast. I'm not really studying martial arts, but my old man once told me, if you want to be like me, you'll have to harden your body. Since then, I've made a point of working out every day. 99, 100. I finished my daily sit-ups and changed from my doji into my school uniform. Since I overslept, I decided to work just enough to satisfy me. A few sit-ups with no stretching should be enough. I'm not built to bulk up, and no matter how important they say bodybuilding is, it's not like I want to get into fights. All I need to do is gain enough athletic ability to handle unexpected situations and be able to move the way my silly ideals require. After all, the thing I want most is to be the complete opposite of an athlete. It's getting late. I toss my sweaty dogi in the laundry hamper. It's already 20 past 6. I'm going to look up that word, just so I don't misspeak. D-O-U-G-I. So, it is a martial arts training uniform. Pronunciation. Load up here so I can hear how this is pronounced. No. I don't need a full YouTube. I just need the word itself. That's not even the proper spelling of the word. I think this one might be it.
Douji.
Douji. I was mispronouncing it. It is a douji. Okay. The Yama household's mornings start early, so even this time would be considered late for breakfast. Breakfast is already prepared. The appetizing scent of the breakfast Sakura cooked wafts toward me from the dining table. You must have had a good workout. Breakfast is ready. Oh, thanks. Sorry I made you work more because I overslept. It's no trouble, and you did not oversleep. You're not in any school clubs, so it's still early. Clubs have nothing to do with it, and if they do, you coming by in the morning must be a lot of trouble since you do have morning practice. Oh, well, I want to do this, so please don't worry about me. Yeah, you keep telling me that, which is why I wake up early, club or no. If you're coming by, it'd be rude to still be asleep. Clubs before school is an interesting concept. To me, waking up early is waking up before soccer gets here, and oversleeping means I make Sakura prepare breakfast on her own like today. You really are a stickler about this kind of thing. Even Mitsuzuri-senpai says you're honest to a fault and annoying, even though you're so crude. Mitsuzuri is the captain of Kyoto Club Sakura's in, and she and I seem to cross paths often. She's still griping about me to you. Yes, she's working hard every day to bring you to your knees with her archery skills before you graduate. Is that so? She must be better than me by now. You know how memories get glorified. I don't mind the reverence, but I guess that depends on who sees me that way, too. Mitsuzuri-senpai is really competitive. I'm sure she sees you as competition. Sakura scoops rice into a bowl as she talks. And it's almost 6:30. The Kyoto Club's morning practice starts at 7. Attendance is not mandatory, but she doesn't have much time left. Fujini should be here soon. Well, it's her fault for not being here on time. Sakura, let's go ahead and start eating. You're right. Here you go, senpai. Sakura hands me the rice bowl with a smile. Ugh. Oops. I should be used to this every morning, but her delicate fingers catch my attention. Shiro. Bad thoughts. Can't explain it, but it's awkward. I'm not sure if it's our age, but Sakura's been looking more provocative lately. Her casual movements are so pretty, she takes my breath away. Maybe it's because I never saw Sakura that way before, but now I'm noticing how feminine she's becoming. Is something the matter? Okay, Shiro, somebody's got the bite of puberty. That's nothing. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's baffling. Why the hell am I getting nervous around my friend's younger sister? Sakura really is just a good, considerate younger friend of mine, and she's someone I need to look after. She's the younger sister of a friend of mine. We used to be friendly, though initially we weren't very close since she's a grade below me. It was only a year and a half ago that our relationship became more of what it is now. Sakura started to come by and cook meals for me when I got hurt, and things kind of stayed like that. I think this arrangement was supposed to last until it got better, but I guess something or other happened, and somehow she's ended up helping out with... Okay, household chores. So, I think I'm going to go back to just one thing, because it is going too fast when it's just strings of normal dialogue, but when they're actually speaking, it's too slow. So it's just like... Either way, Sakura is a good cook, and her cleaning and laundry skills are perfect. Having her come early in the morning is a big help, but it's been disconcerting recently. Sakura isn't the problem. It's me. Dot dot dot. I'm sure being flustered by my friend's sister is part of the reason I feel guilty. Usually I'm unfazed, but when I blush because I got caught off guard like now, I wonder whether that's problematic as her senpai. It's not a problem, Shiro. You're a teenage boy. Breakfast is lined up neatly on the table. A perfectly balanced meal of chicken with parsley salad, grilled salmon, blanched spinach miso soup with radish, carrots, and grated yam soup. That's a lot. Thank you for the meal. Sakura and I sit down and bow and begin our meal in silence. Why silence? The gentle tapping of chopsticks is the only sound in the room. Sakura isn't typically talkative, and I hardly have anything to chat about during meals. Good, you shouldn't be talking during meals. Meals are for eating. So we eat in silence. Normally it's much rowdier than this, but the person who usually causes the commotion must have watched a spy movie or something last night, because she's eyeing the two of us as though through a newspaper propped up in front of her food. Oh, Fujini. Miss Fujimura, it may not be wise to read while you eat. Dot dot dot. Sakura remarks diffidently, but Fujini ignores her. Uh-oh, what's got Fujini acting weird? Her being weird at breakfast isn't really all that weird for her. From what I understand, she's usually more rambunctious. Sakura's used to it too, and she's eating as if nothing's the matter. I thought she was more rambunctious than that. Sakura typically cooks up Western dishes. She only really began learning to cook Japanese dishes since she started coming here to help me out. Sakura learned to cook simple Japanese dishes, at least for breakfast, because Fujini and I prefer them. Now Sakura's cooking skills have improved to the point that she's better than me, and I'm the one who is teaching her. No, that's not right. From what I understand, Shiro Emiya is a master class chef. He is supposed to be like a grand chef servant according to all the fanon that I've read. He's supposed to be a master of the kitchen without compare. And now you're telling me that Sakura is better than him? Mind you, this could just be Shiro being Shiro and not really having much ambition outside of being a hero of justice. But still, that is a blatant lie, Shiro Emiya. Also, I'm curious. Okay, this does not branch off, but it will lead to a choice. I was curious. Actually, I think today's the first time she served yam soup. Yam soup. Sorry, Sakura. Could you pass the soy sauce? Here. Oh, my senpai. You've run out of the soy sauce you usually use. Then can I use Fujini's? Then I can use Fujini's. Pass it over. Miss Fujimura, do you mind? Fujini nods. The newspaper shuffles. Here you go. Are you going to use it for your yam soup? Yeah, everyone puts soy sauce on grated yams. A line of soy sauce streams from the bottle onto the grated white mound. I stir the mixture up, pour it over my rice, and take a bite. The stickiness of the grated yam combined with the intense flavors of the soy sauce. Fujini's about to do something. What the? This isn't soy sauce, it's oyster sauce. Ha 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 ha. Ah, Fujini. Mischief. Fujini tosses her newspaper onto the table with an enthusiastic flick of her wrists. What'd you think of my little stunt switching the oyster sauce and the soy sauce labels first thing in the morning? The not-so-mysterious spy punches the air in victory. Who pulls a stunt like that first thing in the morning? You're going to turn this 25-year... You're going to turn 25 this year, but you're still the same childish Fujini I've always known. That'll teach you a lesson after yesterday. You and everyone else who ganged up on me deserve divine justice. People can't enact divine justice. I knew you were weirdly quiet. I can't believe you've been plotting this since yesterday. You have entirely too much free time on your hands. That's right, and because of that, I really need to get to work grading tests, so I need to skedaddle or I'm in real trouble. Fujini sits back down and shovels her breakfast into her mouth. Thanks for the meal. Breakfast was great as usual, Sakura. Oh, it was my pleasure. And now I'm heading off. You two will be in trouble if you're late for school. And off she goes, stomping out in a rush. There's something terribly wrong with a world that allows someone like her to be a teacher. Senpai? Sorry, that Fujini hardly savored the breakfast you took so much work into making. You took so much work into making? That doesn't feel like, right? No, it's not that. What did you do to Miss Fujimura yesterday? She wouldn't usually go so far as to mess with someone's meal. Well, I accidentally called her by her nickname. Tiger, right? I'm pretty sure that's her nickname, right? Well, I guess there's no avoiding her getting angry again, and you didn't apologize. Sorry, I forgot, but only because that kind of stuff happens all the time. Still not good. You know how much Miss Fujimura hates being called by her nickname? You made her cry again, didn't you? Shiro, Emiya, how dare you! Not only did I make her cry, but she also ran away like a scared rabbit. And thanks to that incident, yesterday's English class ended up being a study hall. Shiro, how could you? In fact, everyone in class worked together to make an award for me from their notebook paper because of that. I threw it away, obviously. Good. Feel bad. Oh my, sounds like you brought that on yourself then, senpai. Fujini is like an older sister to Sakura, so she's typically on Fujini's side. Which is fine on its own, but I wish she would consider the fact that I have to deal with Fujini all day long. Fujini was originally an acquaintance of my old man, and she swung by the house pretty frequently since I was adopted. She kept on coming over even after my old man died, and now she acts like a freeloader, eating breakfast and dinner every day. Actually, isn't she his guardian? It might have been thanks to Fujini that I was able to make it on my own after my old man died. Yeah, she is totally his guardian. And now it's me, Fujini, and Sakura who are the residents of the Emiya house. That's a blatant lie. Sakura is not a resident of the Emiya household. But at the same time, I'm the only one who knows that my old man was a mage. They say mages have to keep that part of their lives secret, which is why Kiritsugu told the very first kid he adopted. Which is why I've also been hiding from others that I'm learning magecraft after I became my old man's apprentice. Learning may be a bit of a stretch, really, since I can barely use magecraft properly. So it wouldn't make much of a difference whether I hide Magecraft or not, but since it was my old man's dying wish, I've been training in secret. I finish breakfast and get ready for school. I put away the dishes with Sakura as I listen to the news on the TV in the background. Dot dot dot. Sakura's looking blankly at the TV. A flashy caption reads, "Gas leaks continue," pops up on the screen. The gas leaks, oh no! There seems to have been a big accident in the neighboring city of Shinto. It happened in a building in the business district. Apparently everyone on one of its floors lost consciousness from oxygen deprivation. Authorities have been calling it an accident resulting from gas leaks, but for some reason these incidents have been happening often. Are you worried about the incident, Sakura? It's either Media or, Medusa that's responsible, isn't it? Not really. I'm thinking that this happened in Shinto, which is very close to us. Senpai, your part-time job is in Shinto, right? Yeah, but the shop's not that big. I don't think an accident like that would happen here. Why does it keep flashing out like that? That was weird. But I can't entirely ignore the idea, either. Gas leaks can happen in any building, and it especially pains me to think that hundreds of people have fallen victim. Some say these accidents are happening because of faulty construction work being done during rapid development project in Shinto. Either way, I hope there won't be any more victims. Oh, but there will be. It's a disturbing story. We need to be careful, too. Well, don't worry about that, Senpai. I always make sure to check that the gas is turned off properly. Twice. Again, it did it again. Sakura proudly proclaims. No, that's not my point. Yep, I've always known Sakura a little off, too. Is a little off, too. Yeah. Senpai, did you lock the back door? I bolted it. Is that a problem? Not at all. Then I'll lock all the doors. What time are you planning to be home today, Senpai? I think I'll be home a little late. What about you, Sakura? I should be back at the usual time. I think I'll be back before you, so I'll make preparations for dinner. Yeah, that'll be great. I'll try to come home as soon as possible, too. I don't remember what day the Holy Grail War starts. The gate is locked tight. Sakura and Fujini both have keys to the house, and the rule is that whoever leaves the house last is in charge of locking everything up. Let's go. You'll be late for morning practice if you don't hurry. Okay, then let's hurry, Senpai. Sakura and I walk into town. We walk downhill along a long wall and to reach a more populated residential area. The Emiya house is located on top of a hill, away from the center of town. Heading down the hill leads us into the residential area. Going further down, we reach the intersection at the center of town. Several roads lead out from the center of town. There's a large bridge that connects to the neighboring town. A hill that leads to the Ryudo Temple. The Ryudo Temple. A residential area located opposite my house. A shopping district that both Sakura and I often go to. And finally, there's a path that leads to our school. We head straight into school without taking any detours. It's barely 7 o'clock, so there's hardly anyone around. Students making their way to their morning club activities are the only ones to be found along our route. See you later. Good luck at practice. I see Sakura off at the school gate, as usual. Sakura's in the Kyudo clubs, and this is usually where we split off. ... And yet, Sakura doesn't budge this morning. Sakura, are you not feeling well or something? No, it's not that, Senpai. Maybe it's time you come visit the dojo. Well, I don't really have any business at the dojo. Besides, Issei asked me to do something, so I need to go to the student council room. I suppose you're right. Sorry for bringing it up. Sakura quickly bows her head. I'll be going then. Please, look forward to dinner tonight. Sakura runs towards the dojo, seeming almost apologetic. What was that? I wonder what that was all about. Issei, are you in? I'm here. You're a little late this morning, Emiya. Issei glances up from his desk, looking like he's been studying some papers. Is it just you, Issei? Where's the rest? They should all be at school by now. Well, unfortunately, the rest of the members are all very on the clock. They all have their set work hours, and they don't want to come in early or stay late. So that's why the student council president is busy doing busy work himself. Guess you've got your own problems to deal with. Well, I live for these sorts of problems. I don't need your sympathy, Emiya. What are you talking about? I'm not sympathizing with you. Well, that's too bad. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. After all, the fact of the matter is that you still care. Issei, who's gathering papers into a single sheaf and tapping the edge against the table to square them neatly, is the big boss of the student council. He's been working to reform the student council, which has grown quite lax, and he's been a friend of mine since our first year in school. His full name is Issei Ryodo. Despite his old-fashioned sounding name, he has elegant facial features, and he's popular with the girls. He's also the student council president, so you'd think he would have the leg up over everyone else, but that's not exactly the case. Nothing beats a scalding cup of hot cup of tea in the morning. And it's saying stuff like that as he sips tea that prevents him from quite sticking the landing. As evidenced, Issei is quite plain. He's prone to be misunderstood, and yet he neither dabbles in relationships nor he does what typical students do for fun. He's the heir to Ryodo Temple, which sits atop a mountain. He himself understands that he will inherit the temple, and there's a strong possibility he'll have to shave his head without so much as a complaint as soon as he graduates. Shave your head. So, what do you want me to do today? Well, I'd like to tell you to sit down and relax, but we really don't have the time. I'll explain as we go, so grab your tools and follow me. Let me get right to the point. Our school's spending habits are quite extreme. I know, the athletic clubs are favored and there's not too much money to go around in other places. Exactly. As a result, the culture clubs get the short end of the stick. I've been trying my best to establish a better budget for the arts, but the money trail has been pretty muddy, which is making my life harder, so the arts are suffering. Arts are suffering. The lack of heaters during the winter is especially concerning, and I have no solution for that. Have Emiya fix some heaters. I see. Hey, hand me the flathead screwdriver, the biggest one. Oh, and give me some conductors, too. Yeah, this one looks salvageable. Conductors. These? I don't really know my way around with tools. That's fine, Issei. You can get mad at me if I'm... You can get mad if I'm wrong. It's fine, you got it right. So, what about the lack of heaters? Is there anything else that's broken? Yes, the heating system in the second audiovisual room and the art club room might be on its last leg. Firms requesting to purchase new ones are piling up by the minute. And you're saying there's no room in the budget? Well, this one's just corroded. Good thing the inside's still intact. Oh, is that one salvageable, Emiya? Yeah, I can fix it. It's a good thing old machines are easy to figure out. The wires are just burnt out. So long as those get replaced, that should be the last until the end of the year. Yeah. Excuse me. Is that so? Way to go, Emiya. I'm glad you're so reliable and helpful. You say some weird stuff, you say. Oh, hey, I'm almost done. So go ahead and step out. Got it. I won't get in your way. Since I can't outread the dialogue, I am going to tap when I'm done. Issei quietly steps out of the classroom. He might be thinking that I'm going to start working on sensitive work. Well, I guess you can call it sensitive work. Magecraft. I put my hand on the old electric stove. No matter how long someone's been fixing things, they can't usually figure out what's wrong by sight. So the fact that I can means that what I'm doing is not ordinary. I close my eyes and look inside the stove by touch. And then suddenly, a single image pops into my head. Okay, he is tracing as well. Forgot that. There are two places where the wire is about to break. The electrical pipes should last a bit longer. The power cord should be fine with just insulation tape. Good. I should be able to fix it with the tools I brought along. If the electric pipes were broken, then it wouldn't be fixable by an amateur. Had that been the case, a certain strengthening would have had to be done, which no amateur could manage, but I should be able to fix this one by sight. This is the magecraft Kiritsugu taught me. Okay, let's begin. I take off the cover to begin my repairs. I already know where it's broken, so the rest of the work is easy. This is the one thing I'm good at. That's right, I'm Shiro Emiya. I have absolutely no talent in magecraft, but for some reason I have a knack for visualizing the structure of things or blueprints, like I just did now. My old man once saw me imagine and recreate a blueprint. He looked surprised and muttered, "What a useless talent." My special talent appears to be pointless. According to my old man, the fact that I can visualize object structures isn't really helpful. A mage normally wouldn't need to survey an object's entire structure like I do. He claims the mage struggle to instantly seek out an object's center or its core and transform it as quickly as possible. That's why reading blueprints is a waste of time, and even that only helps seek out areas for magical energy to pass through. And so fixing broken stuff is one of the only things I'm good at. After all, I don't have to open the entire thing up to find the problem. If I can find the problem quickly, I can fix most things as long as I have the know-how to repair it. Though I only do that when things an amateur could reasonably be expected to fix. Okay, done. What's next? I put away the conductors, pick up the screwdriver and wrench, and head out to the hallway. The confrontation with Rin. Issei, repairs are done. Miss Rin Tosaka, I know when there's a mage doing work nearby. Oh, hey. A female student is standing next to Issei in the hallway. I'm a little surprised. The girl talking to Issei is Rin Tosaka, a second year from Class A. She lives in a giant Western-style mansion up on a big hill, and she's an extraordinary honor student. She's pretty, smart, athletic, no flaws at all. She's intelligent and polite, and she never brags about her looks. She's truly the ideal girl to girls and to guys, apparently, which is why the male students treat her like an idol. But Tosaka's just too good, and she's become unattainable. The guys all say the only people who can talk to Tosaka are Issei and the teachers. Well, okay, I am also a guy, and I'm including myself in that list of her admirers. Da-da-da. Tosaka is looking at us, annoyed. Guess rumors are true that Issei and Tosaka don't get along. Sorry, I was the one who asked you for a favor and made you do all the work. Forgive me. Whoa. Issei's pretty gutsy talking to me and completely ignoring Tosaka like that. Don't worry. So what's next? There's not much time left. Yeah, next is the audiovisual room. I hear it's been on its last leg for a while, but apparently it's finally given out. If it's dead, I won't be able to fix it. I might be able to buy a new... It might be better to buy a new one. That might be true, but I'd appreciate if you take a look anyways. I might think it's dead, but it might just be playing dead to you. Think so? Then let me take a look. There's only about 30 minutes until homeroom starts. I'll need to hurry and fix it, or I'll run out of time. So this is before Rin's summons. This is the day of the summoning. I head into the audiovisual room, but I realize completely ignoring Tosaka would be rude. I turn to face her, since she's been standing there the whole time. You're here early, Tosaka. I blurt out the first thing that comes to mind, and then follow Issei. Oh, Shiro. You made it just in time. Sorry for all the trouble, Amiya. I'm a bad friend for asking a favor from you and making you late for class. Don't sweat it. It won't be a problem if I'm late. Where it might be an issue is if you were late. That's true, but I'm glad we made it. Issei exhales a sigh of relief and heads to his desk. It's exactly 8 o'clock. 5 minutes after the bell for homeroom rings, Fujini will enter the classroom. My breathing is labored since I ran from the audiovisual room. I take a deep breath before I take my seat. What's with all the commotion so early in the morning, Amiya? Didn't realize you became Ryudo's whipping boy after you quit our club. Not that I care, but since you have no principles of your own, don't do anything to ruin our rep. Shinji the asshole. Standing in front of my desk is Shinji Mato. He's been a friend of mine since middle school. Friend. His last name is Mato, and he's Sakura's older brother. He's 1 year older than her. Hey, Velvet. Indeed. Eat shirt, Shinji. Yo, things at the Kyoto Club going well, Shinji? Happy things, Velvet. Happy things. Of course. There's no point in telling an outsider like you, but the club's nice and peaceful now that there's one less member trying to hog all the attention. We're definitely going to make waves at the next tournament. Is that so? I guess Mitsuzuri's working real hard. What the hell are you talking about? I'm the only reason the Kyoto Club is setting records. You've been an outsider for a long time, so stop acting like you know it all or you're going to embarrass yourself. Shinji, you're the embarrassment here. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Besides, I'm not involved with the club, so I won't really concern it with it much. I put my bag on my desk and pull the chair back. What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying my Kyoto Club's boring to you? I'm not saying that. Just that I'm not involved at all, and I'm not part of the club anymore, so it's not right for me to just drop into the dojo. But if there's anything you need, just let me know. I'll help whatever you need. I remember you weren't good at fixing and stringing bows. Okay, Shiro has got to be, like, passive-aggressive here. Yeah? Thanks. I'll give you a call if there are ever chores to be done. Though I doubt that'll ever happen. Well, that's good. A captain who leaves busy work behind wouldn't be much of a captain. Just try not to trouble Miss Fujimura. She's terrifying if she gets mad. Man, Shiro is delivering burns without meaning to. That's hilarious. Mind your own business. Just remember that you're not a member of the club anymore, so don't go near the dojo. Except I'm pretty sure you're going to ask him to clean up the dojo in a day or two, Shinji. And just like that, Shinji heads off to his seat, all self-important bluster, as ever. He does seem moodier than usual. Unbelievable. How can he talk to you like that? He was the one who kicked you out. Oh, Issei. Were you there the whole time? What do you mean? How can you be so cold to me when I was listening attentively to the conversation out of concern for my friend? Issei is a good friend. Confirmed. What does concern have to do with it? I haven't done anything worth worrying about. And Shiro is dumb. Fool, of course I'm concerned. You have a short fuse. Now granted, if you punched Shinji, that would have gotten some applause, but it probably wouldn't make the girls happy. It wouldn't be right for me to put my friend in such an unpleasant position. I get it. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Issei. I don't think that would ever happen, but I appreciate the concern. Foreshadowing. Probably. I actually don't know if Shiro ever socks Shinji. Good. As long as you understand, but I was surprised. You usually get mad at the drop of a hat, but you're pretty tolerant with Matou. Yeah, Shinji's been like that for as long as I've known him. You get used to it. Yes, that's how it is. It is. Now come on, go back to your desk if you're satisfied. It's almost time for Miss Fujimura to dash in. More like floatin'. The bell to homeroom starts ringing. Normally the homeroom teacher comes into the class 5 minutes before homeroom starts, but our teacher isn't what you call typical. Homeroom for Class 2Cs typically starts 1 minute after the starting bell. In other words... I'm late. Homeroom starts with the sounds of Fujini's shouts and hurried footsteps. Okay, I made it. Good morning, every... Gonk. Fujini tumbles and I hear some kind of unnatural sound. Contrary to the hectic sounds of a few seconds earlier, the classroom is now dead silent. The mood shifts sharply. It's no wonder Fujini is called a human roller coaster. But honestly, the way she fell didn't seem like a laughing matter. Fujini hit her head against the podium and she's still lying on the floor. Seeing her lying there face down and moving has everyone imagining the worst. Hey, someone up front. Wake her up. No, I don't want to. She'll probably, bite me or something if I get too close. She's not a mimic. Miss Fujimura wouldn't do that. I think she might. Well, why don't you wake her up, then? Pass, I hate stuff like this. I don't like it either, and you were going to make a girl do it? The boy should stop and take control. The students in the front row start to get rowdy. Those of us sitting in the middle rows can't see what's going on, so we all stand to get a look. Hey, she's not moving. Did she faint? Someone brings up the obvious. Well, the problem is, how would we get Fujini to the infirmary? We're all like comrades in arms after our dealing with Fujini. Probably nobody's thrilled by the idea of taking a teacher to the infirmary. Miss Fujimura, are you okay? A brave girl approaches. Fujini isn't moving. Class grows more concerned. That didn't look good. Her head literally slammed the corner of the podium. If that didn't hurt her, she really is invincible. Maybe we can recruit her for the baseball team? That's more like a threat. The moment the Tiger becomes the head of the baseball team, we're all bound for the big Koshin tournament. Miss Fujimura. It's no use. She's not responding. Hey, you're right next to her. Wake her up. What? I don't want to. If she's dead, I'll be as good as dead, too. But things could get worse if we just leave her. Nobody wants to get near her. Fine, then we have no choice but to go with our last resort. Yeah, that. Everyone's on the same page, except Shinji and I. We keep quiet because the two of us dared not be a part of what was about to happen. Ready? Wake up, Tiger. It comes out as a whisper, even with so many students speaking in unison. The word tiger is especially inaudible. And yet... Twitch. Fujini's previously motionless body reacts. Oh, she moved. This might be working, everyone. Keep going. It's the punishment of the tiger. Everyone must be on edge since midterm tests are approaching. It's a terrible idea on their part, but some students start to wave their arms and chant Fujini's nickname. Wake up, Tiger. It's morning. Need to tiger up. Don't give in, Tiger. Stand up, Tiger. Come on, wake up. Time to wake up the sleeping tiger. That's funny. Don't call me Tiger. Like a sudden bolt of lightning striking, Fujini stands valiantly, as though the fall hardly scratched her. What are you all doing? You guys shouldn't get out of your seats during homeroom. Come on, get back to your seats and we'll begin. Fujini, back to her normal self, stands at the podium. It appears she recalled nothing between the time she jumped into the classroom and the time she woke up. Hey, Tiger doesn't remember anything. Sweet. We're lucky this morning. I don't know if you can call this lucky, honestly. The students shuffle back to their desks. Did someone just mock me? No, absolutely not. Must be your imagination. Really? Then okay. We're going to start morning homeroom, so everyone listen up. Excuse me. Fujini casually starts homeroom. She always goes on digressions between announcements, so it goes swiftly. Which is why everyone should go home at an appropriate hour. The gates close at 6, so everyone doing club activities shouldn't stay any longer than necessary. 6 is so early, Tiger. Don't the athletic clubs get an exception? They will not, and Goto, you better call me Miss Fujimura. The next time you call me by my first name, I'll get mad, okay? Yes, ma'am. I'll be careful next time. Goto sits back down. He doesn't seem particularly remorseful. Too easy. When Fujini says she gets mad. Doesn't even matter if it's with a teacher or a student. That is as close to a serious warning as she's ever going to give, but Goto doesn't realize it. That's it for today's homeroom announcements. I'll see you all at third period's English class. Fujini waves and leaves. So that was Taiga Fujimura, teacher of room 2C. Her nickname, Tiger. That might seem like a joke, but it isn't. She's got the nickname because it sounds like her name, Taiga, but Fujini hates it. According to her, it doesn't sound feminine. But she got the nickname because of how she acts, so she kind of had it coming. Class will begin. Class duty, lead the greeting. As Fujini exits the room, the first period teacher enters. Because Fujini takes up almost all homeroom time, mornings are always like this for our classes. And so another day of classes ends. There are many types of students. Some immerse themselves in club activities, some hurry home, and some hang out in the classroom after class for no particular reason. I don't really fit into any of those categories. Do you have a minute, Emiya? Picking back up with what we did this morning, do you have some more time? Well, it's not like I don't have any plans. It's not as if I don't do anything at all. The biggest reason I quit the Kyoto Club in the first place was that I wanted to prioritize my part-time job. It's been 5 years since I started part-time jobs to earn money for living expenses on my own after my old man died. When you do so many different jobs, there are some requests you just can't say no to. Today is one of them. I was asked to help restock some product for a bar, since they wanted as many strong helping hands as they could get. Though I'm sure I don't have to go help, the bar is likely asking anyone as an excuse to gather some folks to hang out afterwards. There are two options. I should. Hang on. Save there. Okay, but I thought the flowchart... Okay, now it's branching. Interesting. So, these are sort of skips, then, it seems. Or not skips, but scenes, I guess. These are the various scenes at separate times. Okay. So, now is an unknown branch. I don't know where to go from this point. So this is all pre-summoning Saber, which you don't really get too much context on what Shiro does before then, outside of runs into the Ku and Emiya fight here. I know that Sakura interactions are probably key to Heaven's Feel, but I don't know the differential between the Fate route and Unlimited Blade Works. Okay, let's think. Let us think. So, Rin. What did Rin do? We know that on this first day after classes, Rin went home because she needed to prep for summoning Emiya. So this is the day that Rin summons Emiya. Or Archer, I guess. Spoiler warning. Sakura does not encounter Gil until Archer has been summoned. I don't know. Okay, let's think. So, what would helping the student council do? Help the student council contrary to part-time job. So Shiro has mentioned in character that helping the part-time job is something he can't skip out on. Maybe this... and, I mean, if you look at the flowchart thing, this is kind of cheaty. There's a little heart symbol here, but I don't know if that necessarily means build relationships, because I am almost positive there is no Issei route. almost 1,000% positive of that. So that's beside the point. Maybe it's more along the lines of Shiro following his ideals. So Shiro's ideals are to essentially always help out those in need. And he's already promised to help out at his part-time job. I'm trying to think. Fulfill a previous and what's the difference between figuring out? So Unlimited Blade Works. Unlimited Blade Works is about Shiro realizing his reality marvel. He doesn't abandon his ideals to become a hero of justice. He abandons the thought of being like Emiya. And he saves Saber, I think, in that route as well, technically speaking. Doesn't he? No, not really. I don't know. I think we gotta follow with Shiro's word. He promised to do part-time job stuff, so he's got a part-time job he's gotta do. I feel bad for Issei, but I should probably prioritize my part-time job. I never promised I would go, but since I said I'd try, I should probably keep my word. Sorry, Issei. I have plans already, so can I get a rain check on this morning's tasks? Plans? Oh, you mean your part-time job? Yeah, sorry for trouble you. A couple days won't make any difference, so go ahead and head into your other commitments. Oh, that could be the impact. That there could be... Okay, I'm seeing a possible reason why this was a branching choice. So we're putting this off to something that will happen a couple of days later. We're helping Issei off to a couple days in the future. And I don't think that happens in Unlimited Blade Works. Granted, I'm only going off based the anime, and based off the anime, you don't really see too much of Shiro's daily life outside of, or like, after the whole Medusa incident. So that's kind of besides the point here. I don't know. I don't know. But this definitely sounds like it's we just raised a flag for a future interaction with Issei by doing this. Thanks. I'll get back to those tasks first thing in the morning, so please, let me off the hook this time. I thought I said this wasn't a serious issue. We got urgent stuff done this morning. You can finish up the rest whenever you're free, Emiya. If you say so. Is it okay if I pick up where I left off, whenever I don't have work? Certainly. I'll be counting on you when that time comes, Emiya. Issei bids me a stiff farewell and leaves the classroom. Okay, then. I shouldn't dawdle. I may not have been given a specific time, but now that I've decided to go to my part-time job, I need to hurry over to the neighboring town. Jeez, I thought I was going to help out just a little, but they gave me 30,000 yen. It's like an unexpected windfall or a stroke of good luck. How much is that to USD? Copenhagen, where I work today, is like a bar and supermarket that sells liquor all in one, and it takes a lot of people to restock inventory for this place. It's a job that needs at least 5 people, but the more people you have after that makes everyone's lives easier. Yeah, the boss is always like, $200. Anyone who can help can just swing by. He mentioned it so casually to the part-time workers and seemed to think it was enough. But I'm the only one who showed up. The only people there for inventory were me, the boss, and Neko, his daughter. All hell broke loose. You dummy, of course nobody would come. Neko was scolding the boss, yet I was the only fool who came, ready to be sacrificed. The 2 of them unenthusiastically applauded when I showed up, and then we all decided to organize the storage room as much as possible. And then, we somehow finished the inventory in 2 hours. This was amazing. Going for the extra brownie points or something, Shiro? The boss remarks as he eats a brown cake and surveys the afternoon's work. Not exactly. I'm used to manual labor, and I've been working here long enough that I know where most things go in the storage room. I've been working here since I was young for nothing, you know. Oh yeah, how long's it been already, Shiro? 5 years? Something like that. You were one of the only places that hired me as soon as after my old man died. That's so? No wonder I feel old. The boss stuffs his mouth with rum cake. Next to him, Neko is nursing a bottle of warm sake. The owner is a sweet tooth, while the daughter is the drinker of the family. They sure balance each other out well. But honestly, you really helped us out. I'd feel bad if all you got from your hard work was just a few slices of cake. So here's a little something from me. He waves 3 10,000 yen bills at me. It's more than I'd get for a week's worth of labor, not 3 hours. No, thanks. I hesitate, but I take whatever I can get. Just as I'm about to leave the Copenhagen... Hold up, Emion. Who did you hear about today's job from? Neko stops me while she's curled up in front of the heater, resting. I think it was Furumi. That idiot should know better than to push his own work onto a student. Well, whatever. So you're saying you came to help stock inventory even though you only heard about it secondhand? Well, I was told to help if I wasn't busy. Furumi's a dumbass, but you're no better, you know. Whatever. I bet you're the kind of person who can never say no. I know. I remember that one time when you watched the store when Dad and I both got sick. That's not true. I won't do things for people when I know I can't. I only do things I know I'm able to. That right, huh? I seem to recall you were sick that day, too. Whatever. Anyway, my point is that you're a good guy, but kind of dumb, which leaves me a little worried about you, so tell Fujimura to swing by as soon, because I've got a beef with her. Neko makes circles with her fingers in the air as she downs her sake. She seems to think I'm a dragonfly or something. Okay, so just tell Fujini that. Yep, see ya. Try not to push yourself too hard, boy. Oh, I've already crossed the bridge. I managed to walk back from the neighboring Shinto to Miyama without realizing. Is he late for dinner? That could be another possible thread being tugged. I walk through the still darkened town. It's about 7:30. There should still be people out and about at this hour, but there are no signs of anyone around. Alright. There was a crime committed in Miyama the other day. A burglar murdered someone, I think. Must be why there's no one around and why the school curfew has been set to 6 o'clock. Gas like some burglars, huh? Seems like it's getting dangerous around here. No wonder people are avoiding walking around at night. It's probably not safe to let Sakura go home on her own anymore. Fujini might be fine, but Sakura's house is in the residential area on the other side of town. Guess I should walk her home starting tonight. I can't quite believe what I'm seeing. I must be wrong. I sense a presence on the uphill path I was sure was empty. Whoever it is, they're standing still and look to be peering down at me. Ilya? Okay, I unconsciously hold my breath. Ilya. Girl with silvery hair smiles and walks down the path without making a sound. And as she passes by... You better summon one soon, or you'll die, big brother. What she says makes no sense. Okay, that's good. I figure out how to stop it. Okay, early Ilya interaction. Where does that occur? I can't remember if that happens in Unlimited Blade Works or not. I truly don't know if in Unlimited Blade Works the first time Shiro encounters Ilya is during the fight outside the church or not. I don't recall. I climb up the hill and reach my house. The lights are already on, which means Sakura and Fujini are home. The moment I step into the living room, I smell the delicious aroma of dinner. Sakura and Fujini are both eating at the table. Tonight's meal is chicken stewed in cream sauce, and it's put Fujini in an especially good mood. Welcome home, Senpai. Please excuse us for eating ahead of you. Thanks, and sorry for being late. I should have come home earlier. That's fine. You still made it in time. Please, wait while I prepare your plate. Okay, thanks. I'll go wash up, so keep an eye on Fujini to make sure she doesn't eat my portion. Yes, I'll do that. Fujini is being bullied. I go to my room. It's a sparse room compared to the storehouse, but it's still decorated enough, considering I don't have any particular hobbies. though most of them are random things Fujini just left here. After I wash my hands and change, I head back to see my food on the table. Thank you for the meal. Please, dig in. I hope you like it. Sakura is as humble as ever. Her cooking skills have vastly improved over the past year. My cooking is no match for her Western foods. My Japanese dishes might be a little better. Neither of us is good at making Chinese dishes. I'm glad to know she's improving, but it's also a little depressing when the pupil surpasses her master. It really is delicious. The longer you cook chicken, the tougher the meat gets, which is why you need to take the extra step of grilling the chicken to a crisp to seal its juice and its juices and flavor. This requires exceptional skill in making something the clumsy Fujini would never be able to manage. What do you think, Senpai? I think today's dish turned out quite well. No complaints here. The cream sauce is perfect. My cooking can't hold a candle to your Western dishes. Yep. Ever since Sakura started cooking, all her meat dishes have gotten better. Fujini, who's been concentrating on her meals up until now, pipes up. And you're in trouble, Shiro. A student shouldn't stay out so late at night. She looked to be in good spirits thanks to Sakura's meal, but the moment she sees my face, her mood turns sour. I bet you were helping someone again. That's fine, but you really should be coming home early for now. Don't you remember my homeroom announcement about how it's not been safe lately? Well, speaking directly to you, Shiro. You really don't need to make a homeroom announcement for something you can just tell me at home. You wouldn't listen if I told you here, though. You're more likely to listen if I tell you at school. That seems like an abuse of authority, or at least mixing business with private matters. Nope, this was just what I have to do to make things sink in for Shiro. He always gets the short end of the stick because he's busy helping everyone. That idiot should come straight home once in a while and relax a bit. Who are you calling an idiot? What's wrong with helping people? I'm not losing out on anything as long as someone benefits from my help. You're starting to sound like Kiritsugu, and that mindset has your big sister worried, Shiro. Seeing Fujini eating so heartily makes me wonder what exactly she's worried about. Miss Fujimura, just from that conversation, are you saying Senpai has always been like this? Yep, always. He's the type who would lend helping hand whenever there's someone in need. It's not that he meddles in things, but he's always been a bit precautious. Fujini grins menacingly. Fujini, I'm going to get mad if you say something you shouldn't, and you shouldn't ask such silly questions, Sakura. I glare at the two. Fujini clicks her tongue in disapproval, but... Miss Fujimura, please continue. Sakura presses on like an attentive student. Then, let me explain. You see, Shiro just can't help himself when he sees someone in need. It's like helping the weak and subduing the strong. When he was younger, he wrote an essay saying he wanted to be a hero of justice. Quit bringing up the past, Fujini. I can't really jump in, though, because it's true. Besides, becoming a hero of justice is still my goal. Well, you're a really wonderful child, Senpai. Yep, it was astonishing. He would swoop in to rescue a little girl from getting bullied by a boy twice her age, and he tried his hardest doing housework because Kiritsugu was such a slob at home. Oh, he was so cute and innocent back then. I'm not sure how he got to be a stubborn, disobedient boy he is today. I think the girl he saved was Sakura, if memory serves. That's on you, Fujini. That's what happens when with children when they have bad role models. And if you want to say something to that, try making an entire meal all on your own. Fujini is shocked. I thought she would just lower her head and repent, but... Big sister's so sad. Sakura, thirds, please. She holds out her rice bowl, asking for a third helping of dinner. Poor Fujini. We relax after dinner, and it's almost 9 o'clock. Well, what should I do? There's still some time before my evening training. I guess I'll... Okay, A triple split, huh? No, a 4 split? This is a 4-way split here. Okay, so... just based on things... This flowchart will probably meet back... They will all probably meet back up here. We only have 3 options available, but it shows there being 4 choices, so one of the choices we made back here has already locked away one of these choices. I don't know what choice it is that did so, but one choice has been locked off. Now, before I do anything, I want to see, does the flowchart load in even if I go back to a previous save? It does. Okay, so I didn't necessarily need to keep saving at every save point, but it will be convenient in its own way. So let's go back to after work, good work after today. Guess I'll... Okay. So, what to do? That is the question. Walking Sakura home definitely feels like... So, while I'm talking routes, this is a visual novel, and it's about getting the right girl. And I'm guessing there's relationship points that are invisible values and stuff, and Sakura home seems like it would go down that route. I don't know which one would be the fate route, though. I really don't. Okay, let's think. So, this is still pre-Archer being summoned. The next day is when Archer is summoned, and then it's the following day that Shiro runs into trouble. Because the first day is Rin and Archer, you know, they sort of get the scope of the lay of the land and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Now, Shiro said he should hang out with Sakura. So walk Sakura home. Walking Sakura home, though, feels like it will take us down Heaven's Feel. Hanging out with Fujini, that would probably make Sakura walk home alone. And that would distance Shiro from Sakura, and sort of, at least on Unlimited Blade Works route, Sakura really isn't brought up that much. So maybe he needs to rest here? If he rests... Well, actually... Neither Sakura nor Fujimura are... Neither Sakura nor Fujimura, or Taiga rather, are really seen in Unlimited Blade Works route. Taiga is held hostage in Unlimited Blade Works, but then she sort of drops off the face of the map, face of the world. I don't know. I don't know. Decisions, visual novel choices. Okay, so I can rule out Walk Sakura home. That is probably going to be the more towards Heaven's Feel, and I do not want Heaven's Feel. Resting would send Taiga and Sakura out together, presumably. Taiga would walk Sakura home. And that's an unknown, though. Resting to send Taiga and Sakura home together would lead to an unknown scenario. And Sakura has summoned Medusa at this point, who is under Shinji's control. Sending Taiga to their... I don't know. No. Do I have a coin? I do have a coin. Alright. So, That's a euro. How do I have a euro? I have a 10 piece euro. Okay, I've got a no, I want to flip a quarter, because otherwise I will lose a penny. There we go. Alright, so, heads we hang out with Fujini, tails we rest. Heads, hang out with Fujini. Well, it might be good to see how Fujini's doing. Sort of a good way to get in some light after-meal exercise. I'll try getting back at her for telling Sakura that embarrassing story. No, I thought you were taking a bath. Fujini is silently peeling tangerines, eating them for dessert. 2 tangerine peels shaped like floating flowers are laying on top of the table. I feel like she's been cursed or something. She can't peel apples to save her life, but her tangerine peels are like works of art. I've decided to take a bath later. I've got a bone to pick with you about the stories you told earlier. What? Oh, let it go, will you? That stuff was from a long time ago, and Sakura was really happy to hear about it. Anyway, here. You need to fulfill your quota. You've got to eat at least one of these a day. Excuse me. She takes a small tangerine out from a basket on the table and tosses it to me. Oh, hey, you're not going to win me over with a tangerine. It's a good thing you only told Sakura, but never tell stories like that at school. People like Issei would become concerned, and it wouldn't be good. I bet Mitsuzuri would be rolling on the floor laughing if she heard the story. Kidding, I know. I won't talk about your childhood other than to Sakura. That's not my point. I'm not saying don't talk about it to Sakura either. I'm sure Sakura doesn't like hearing boring-ass stories like that. And I know you won't do it again, but if you do, I'll get real mad. I glare at Fujini with all my might, showing how serious I am. Oh, I see. I get it. So that's what this is about, Shiro. Despite my efforts, Fujini grins, clearly pleased with herself. You're really starting to piss me off. Why do you look so pleased with yourself, you dumb tiger? I scowl angrily at Fujini. You can call me Tiger all you want, but let me get this straight. You didn't want Sakura to hear that story. You don't care if anyone else knows you want to become a champion of justice, but you're embarrassed about Sakura finding out. What? But that's not true, I think. Okay, then. I'm going to keep on blabbing. Aw, Shiro finally noticed Sakura. I'm a little concerned as an educator, but I'm relieved as your guardian, and at the same time, I might be a little heartbroken as your big sister. Her speech is almost weirdly emotional, and then have Harpy later, she shoves the whole tangerine in her mouth. Fujini can't fit anything up to the size of a fist in her mouth. An act like that might be alluring if we were in the wild savannah or something, but such feral charm seems kind of unbecoming for a mature woman like her. Oh, weren't you taking a bath? In comes Sakura. She heads right to the living room, having finished up with the dishes. I put it off because there was something I had to talk with Fujini about. Want a tangerine, Sakura? I reach over for the stack of tangerines in a basket. It's unexpected, but the 3 of us relaxing together after dinner is kind of nice. Oh, Miss Fujimura offered me some already. She saved some just for me, and they were delicious. Sakura doesn't like to eat fresh fruit. She can only eat them if they're cooked or frozen like ice cream. Okay, isn't it getting late, Sakura? Yes, I finished cleaning up, so I'll be heading home now. Got it? I guess it's time for me to go too. Let's go together, Sakura. I'll walk you home since it's been dangerous outside lately. Okay, that's unexpected. I'm trying to puzzle out... So if Shiro rested, then he would not have had this interaction with Taiga. Presumably. Taiga and Sakura are heading home together regardless. There would have been no interaction with Taiga, which would have therefore... So there's something Taiga likely... There's some interaction here that likely shapes things going forwards. A Taiga-Sakura bond fostered? And Taiga realizing Shiro has affection for Sakura? But that feels like it would be very Heaven's Feel-esque. It's not as directly Heaven's Feel as walking Sakura home would be, but it still kind of feels it. The way she gets up gives the impression of a responsible elder. Are you sure? Of course, I'm responsible for both you and Shiro. Oop. I need to make sure you get home safe. You don't mind, right, Shiro? Don't forget to look up once the two of us leave. Got it. And as long as you're okay with Sakura, I won't worry, even if you're attacked by perverts. Or bears. I don't know about bears. Not sure I can do much against a bear, so Sakura and I will run back here if that happens. Then the two of us will beat up the bear together, and we'll have bear stew for dinner the next day. Fujini smiles fearlessly. Yeah, Fujini typically marches to a different beat. A beat so loud and discordant, it wreaks havoc on everything around her. But as a teacher, she is also so courageous, it's almost admirable. Let's go, Sakura. See you tomorrow, Shiro. Have a good night, Senpai. Yep. The two leave the mansion. I see them off the front door, and then I lock the door behind them as instructed by Fujini. And that is how my day ends. Just before midnight, Shiro Amiya must perform the daily routine of utilizing magecraft. I cross my legs, take my position, and regulate my breathing. I try to empty my mind. I ignore everything around me and turn my focus inward. I mutter the familiar incantation as putting myself in a spell. No, this is a kind of hypnosis. With no magic crests and no magical knowledge, the incantation I mutter is really just a way to focus myself and change my body. Typically, humans do not have any lines which allow magical energy to pass through their body. To temporarily change my body to create a pseudo-version of the lines, I need enough concentration to unify my entire physical and nervous system. Magecraft is a battle with yourself. For example, I insert a burning steel rod into my backbone. The steel rod itself is the one and only magical circuit I can prepare for myself. By passing this deep within my body and connecting to my other nerves, I can finally be a mage. This is not a metaphor. And if you look closely, a series of metal rods, which normally cannot be seen or touched, pierce my backbones. I'm a magician. Kiritsugu Amiya was a mage. He was a true mage who disciplined himself in a wide variety of mystics, plumbed the deeper secrets of the world and its workings, and even performed miracles. And as a young child, I admired Kiritsugu and begged him to teach me magecraft. You can't become a mage. You have to be born with talent and inherit a tremendous amount of knowledge. I obviously never had that inborn talent, and Kiritsugu never imparted any knowledge about magecraft to me. I was told it wasn't necessary for me. Something like that. I still don't understand what he meant by that, but it didn't matter to me as a child. I always thought learning magecraft would bring me that much closer to being like Kiritsugu. I was blessed with neither the talent, that is, the abundance of magical circuits within me, nor the generations of magecraft knowledge handed down to me. You do have circuits, though, Shiro. Kiritsugu must be incompetent. The magecraft Kiritsugu possessed, the magic crest passed down from the Amiya family, can only be passed down to a blood relative. The magic crest, which is the proof of a mage, rejects any non-blood relative. As an adopted son, I could not receive the Amiya family crest. Then again, since I honestly don't have any idea what the hell a magic crest even is, it doesn't matter much whether I have one or not. It's just a matter of gaining the ability. If I want to be a mage, I just have to learn magecraft that suits the traits that I do have. Magecraft is, taken to its extreme, a skill supposedly meant to release magical energy. You could say that magical energy is a life force. Magical energy is separated into two sources: mana, which comes from the world's atmosphere, and ode, which is created within living creatures. Obviously, mana, which comes from the world itself, is superior to ode. The sheer power of the world's mana is simply not even comparable to the ode one human can create. No matter what the form it takes, magecraft utilizing mana will always surpass anything created by an individual's ode. So a powerful mage is one who excels at drawing magical energy from the world. It's a lot like a filtration system. A mage will use their own body's circuits to draw on the mana from the outside and convert it into something usable. Mages call the circuits they use to accomplish this magic circuits. This is the inborn talent part. That number of magical circuits one has is determined at the moment of birth. Typically, humans hardly have any magic circuits. They're normally quite rare. That's why mages will spend generations trying to ensure their descendants have a body more suitable to magic. Some families even go so far as to practice selective breeding in order to increase the number of magical circuits in their children. And since I was raised in a normal family, I never had a chance of having much in the way of magic circuits. It left me only one option. According to Kiritsugu, everyone is well suited to one specific form of magecraft. He also said something about drawing out magical energy based on the person's origin, but I never quite understood that part. What I do understand is that even someone like me can use at least one form of magecraft. If I can do that, maybe I can be like Kiritsugu. That's why I've only learned this one magecraft. That was 8 years ago. After a lot of thought, Kiritsugu took me on as a disciple, though he never seemed happy about it. Listen, Shiro, learning magecraft means leaving behind common sense. You die when the end comes for you, and you kill when you must. Life isn't at the core of what we do. Death is. Magecraft is walking the path of self-destruction. I guess I knew no fear as a child. Kiritsugu smiled bitterly, placing a hand atop my head as I nodded enthusiastically. What I'm about to teach you is the sort of thing that could cause conflict. So you should never use it in front of everyone, and you should never forget your training, because it's difficult. Then again, you don't really need to follow it either. The most important thing is that you always remember that magecraft is to be used for others, and not for yourself. And that would make you simply a user of magecraft, rather than a mage. I guess Kiritsugu didn't want me to be a mage, but I didn't care about that. I admired Kiritsugu, not mages. As long as I can be the sort of person who lives to help others, like Kiritsugu on that day in the fire and the nightmare. I got distracted. I feel the uncomfortable sensation of the iron rod in my backbone moving where it shouldn't. Losing control of my breathing now would be fatal. The pseudo-magic circuits would overwhelm my body and shred it to pieces, and that would be the end of me. Shiro Emiya would simply be a novice who died because he failed at an elementary step. Elementary! Something that no sane mage would do. I grit my teeth and try to recover my connection. After pain like walking through a storm of needles, the iron rod finally sinks deep within my body and fuses with me. I've been working on this for a little over an hour, and after all that time I'm finally able to create one pseudo-circuit, a circuit capable of creating magical energy using my own self. Basic structure, analyze. All that's left is to allow the magical energy to flow naturally. Shiro Emiya is no mage. He's just a user of magecraft who can only create magical energy within his body and channel it into objects. And that's why I can only do one thing with this magecraft, which is composition, analyze, enhancing objects. It's just strengthening magecraft, where I apprehend an object structure and channel magical energy to temporarily reinforce its abilities. Basic structure, alter. I hold a broken iron pipe. I pass magical energy through it to execute the most basic magecraft to enhance its durability. Passing magical energy into something other than yourself is like mixing poison. My blood is a far cry from the blood of an iron pipe. Forcing an entirely different sort of blood through an object may well destroy it rather than enhance it. To prevent that from happening, I need to properly understand an object's structure, and pass magical energy into it between the small vacant spaces. Composition, reinforce. This may be easy for a skilled mage, but since I have a hard time generating magical energy in the first place, even a test like this is as difficult as shooting an arrow and hitting a target several hundred meters from you. A typical archery target is 28 meters away, so it goes without saying how hard it would be to hit a target at 10 times that distance. My body temperature suddenly plummets. The fiery pillar passes through my backbone, disappears, and my lungs seize in desperate need for oxygen. My back arches in an effort to keep me from passing out. Damn, I failed again. The iron pipe is unchanged. The magical energy I passed into it appears to have dispersed. Damn, adding something that already has a set form is hard. What I'm attempting to do is like adding an extra brushwork to a completed work of art. Adding something extra to a completed object raises the risk of compromising the object's integrity. The paintbrush, helping to improve, might actually devalue the work instead. Which is why, despite its simplicity, strengthening magecraft is so difficult and not many mages willingly use it. And it's not that I chose this, but it's really all I can do. It would be much easier if I could make something from shapeless clay, but a substitute that just recreates its form is all show and no substance. Which explains all the junk around. Whenever I fail at strengthening magecraft, I try to make a substitute object to practice and calm down on, but they all end up empty. I can visualize the structure of an object easily, and I can recreate something very similar, but it's hollow, and obviously doesn't function at all. That's tracing. I wipe the sweat off my brow. I realize I'm absolutely dripping with sweat. If this is as bad as it got, I should consider myself lucky. What happened earlier was really bad. Had I taken even a second longer to recover, my internal organs would probably be mush about now. If only pushing myself to the brink of death helped me improve, there'd be some hope here. Nothing comes that easily. At the same time, fear of death will stand in the way of improving my magecraft. Learning magecraft means courting death at every turn. Each rudimentary everyday magecraft can spin wildly out of control from a mistake and ending the caster's life. The very first thing a mage must do is resolve to accept death. Kiritsugu always looked sad whenever he brought that up. Maybe it was his way of saying that he didn't want me getting into any of this. Saving one person means not saving someone else. Being a hero of justice means you need to be an extremely egocentric person. That was always his line. Kiritsugu always said that whenever I mentioned wanting to be like him. I still don't know what he meant by that. All I'm certain of is that when I want to save people, to be a hero of justice, like Kiritsugu Emiya. But I can't even manage the basics. I'm such an idiot for letting myself get distracted at the most crucial moment. It's not enough for me to just grasp the object's structure visually. A skilled mage would be able to focus on the actual crucial areas and efficiently channel magical energy. My dream is to become a hero of justice. I remember what Fujini mentioned at dinner. I never really thought of that goal as embarrassing or impossible. That Shiro Emiya will succeed Kiritsugu Emiya has already been decided. That's why I've been doing everything I can despite how sorely I lack in experience. I don't know exactly what it means to be a hero of justice. But because I don't know, I've trained myself to be the very best of my abilities in hopes I'll be useful some day. I haven't taken my eye off that goal in the past 5 years. Whenever things go wrong with this, I start to have doubts. I just don't get it, old man. What the hell do I have to do to be a hero of justice? Save somebody. I look up at the sky through a window. It's not just about being good for someone out of the blue. Saving someone and being a hero of justice are two different things. I know that, but what do I have to do to differentiate them? I've yet to understand that crucial concept for the past 5 years. Do I want to save it here and call it a night? That's day 1. Done. I think this is a fine point to save and call the stream here. Because this does feel like the end of day 1. Yeah, day 2, waking up, morning at the Emiya house. So, yep, it's going to go through the motions here. This feels like a good spot to end the stream off at. I do want to check out the flowchart here, see if it's... Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, there are 2 paths that lead to this. Ah, and I think I've already logged myself out of a choice here because I've rejected Sakura. Okay. I'm seeing more how this is all branching out. So, it looks like multiple choices will lead to the sleep training magical circuits. Just because of how this is positioned, my guess is that 3 of these choices will lead to this, and 1 choice will lead to something else. And I'm guessing that I have to walk Sakura home because we've locked ourselves out of... No, we're at this one. Okay. There's a Sakura choice coming up here. I'm definitely going to have to ponder this more here in the next stream. And I do think that the next remaster stream will be on... Actually, no, I think I can do next Friday. It's the following Friday that I have a dress rehearsal for the wedding. So, yeah. So, I think I'm going to call this one here. I did only get 1 day done, but it was a long stream. A lot of speculation going on. I am interested in, like, what all these different choices will lead to. And in fact, I'm kind of tempted to just go back and see what resting would have done. Because, I don't know, I feel like it might lead... It should lead to this as well. But obviously, you'd get a different starting point here, because we're starting down here, not here. I don't know. So many possibilities. The fact, if it was just 3, I would know what to do, but it's 4, so that's just, like, throwing me off so hard. Anyways, so I'm going to call this stream here. I've been SolarActor, and I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. Be sure to tune in next Friday if you want to continue watching the FSN Remastered streams. And, yeah, thanks so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.